Hey, welcome to Witching Hour Tarot. Excited to be here again. Bringing in the new year with some good energy. As you can see that I have my new lace gloves on and matching with some purple amethyst rings, which I'm quite happy about. I do have a new deck here today that just came in from Etsy. It doesn't have a specific name, but the name of the creator was Meta Tarot. I also brought in a beautiful Flower of Life card holder that I'm going to use for like the major arcana of my readings. Again, when I read, I do 4 initial cards and I clarify twice, and then I kind of have a major arcana of the general energy that's going on. So let's get right to it. I'm going to start with the Centennial deck, the Smith Waite. I hope you guys have been enjoying the new year so far. I know I have. It's been freezing here in the Northeast, but nonetheless, I love this time of year. I love the seasons generally. Each season kind of has its different purpose. Winter seasons are, for keeping cozy, taking good care of your health, your body, getting kind of ready for spring and resetting. Some people get seasonal depression. I'm really lucky because I've never really suffered from seasonal depression at all. If you're suffering with something like that and it gets dark at 4:30, I wish you love, light, and blessings, and hopefully you can find some sunshine somewhere, but just to sit out in the sun, even for an hour at peak day, 12, 1, 2 p.m., when the sun is highest during the winter is really good for you and your skin and just your general, get the dosage of vitamin D. So with all that being said, what's going on in the collective? Two of Swords. So Two of Swords, again, there's a mastery to the Two of Swords. It's not necessarily being blinded. It's more so intentionally putting on the blindfold. And I like to compare the mastery of this blindfold to, someone who is like a knife thrower, like a magician or something like that. Like there's definitely a degree of mastery here, and because of that, you can also, not only can you defend yourself if needed, but you can decide if you're the aggressor if needed as well. This person is kind of just hanging out there, more or less in a meditative kind of position. It does signify kind of two different ways you can go about, but swords are air energy. They're about logic and being practical and reasonable. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So really nice to see that energy here. You could have a couple of ways to handle a situation and you're not really sure what's the most logical. King of Swords. Yeah, so, definitely some air energy out on the table. Again, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. These are the doctors, lawyers, accountants of the world. Very smart, very logical, very practical. Kind of moves through, when you do a math problem, kind of moves through the entire problem and does it swiftly and very sharp. In the reverse, they can be quite ruthless, very cutting. Unfortunately, with this energy, there's a masculine here on the table. Maybe you have a choice and you're trying to decide the best logical thing to do here. Try not to be cutting too. You don't want to wield your sword against people who you ultimately really don't want to, you don't have to wield your sword against. It's very counterproductive to kind of take things a step too far when you're trying to, assert yourself in a situation. You don't have to be so harsh with people. It's not necessary. So let's see what else is coming out. Yeah, the Seven of Cups. So we've been seeing this a lot. So there's definitely choices here. Again, this is water energy. So Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Cups are all of these. Seven of Cups are all about. You see how it's kind of like there's a different kind of symbol in each cup. Like this cup, I think has. This is like a dragon of some sort, a lizard in the first cup, and then we have a wreath. And then we have gold and jewels. Here we have like a castle. Here we have a serpent, and then here this is like a ghostly figure, and then this, I assume is some sort of archangel or what have you. So, everyone has these choices in life. Some choices are appear to be more of an illusion. And having multiple choices can be very elusive as well, because you're not really sure if you could be overwhelmed with so much choice that you might not necessarily do the best thing for you at that time. It's kind of like everything that glitters isn't gold as well. Things that are typically really shiny and seem, too good to be true usually are too good to be true. This kind of reminds me of like a story of this person who, they were being pressured by their entire community to marry this other person, and this other person wanted to present themselves as like a churchgoer and fearing of Jesus, and very righteous, and it was all also sort of an illusion. Like meanwhile, behind closed doors, like the person the person was suffering from severe mental illness and on disability, and the parents were putting pressure on a masculine in this situation to marry their daughter, and because they don't want to deal with her either, but at the same time, like she had the support to look a certain way, to be a certain way, but what they're really just trying to do is tie down this masculine to her for the rest of her life, for the rest of his life, so they don't have to deal with her anymore, so they don't have to take care of her. But like meanwhile, like if there are other options there for someone like that, go work, go get your own job. like jobs, like just learning how to work, like whether it's your own business or working for a corporation, like it's very good for your mental health. Like most of the time, it's good for your stability. It teaches you consistency, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you all the kind of foundational values that you need in order to even pursue a relationship. So this particular combination reminds me of that particular instance. And it's really too bad that people, they try to put illusions on a particular person and try to paint a pretty picture, and meanwhile it's just not just a nightmare. And I think it happens more often than we realize. Like you hear all those stories of people getting married, and then definitely that energy here. People getting married, this is the Seven of Swords. So this has been a lot of air energy here. So this is a deceptive card, conniving card. So someone definitely would try to pull the wool over someone's eyes, look like a shiny object, and meanwhile they're not. There's not much there. And, this person also may have foregone other options to, appease the situation here. But it was all just all an illusion. And so again, you hear those stories of getting married to people, and meanwhile, the person that you're marrying is $50,000 to $100,000 in credit card debt. And once you marry them, that debt more or less becomes part of your, financial balance sheet, your financial statement, and I think that kind of thing happens all the time. Or, people have, I'm thinking of this movie, Ray, with Jamie Foxx. I love that movie. I recently just saw the Bob Dylan movie with Timothy Chalamet and Elle Fanning, and I loved it. I love movies about music generally, and the struggles of artists. But Ray, for example, had a lot of demons in his closet, and he hid his heroin addiction from his wife. So she got married to this beautiful Kerry Washington, that was the actress in the movie. And she didn't know that he had these addiction issues. And with addiction issues, there's often, also cheating and, lying and more deception, more of this kind of stuff. And it's really interesting. I was watching, people really, it's kind of funny. Like, we live in the 21st century, and like birds of a feather stay together. Like, people really are under the illusion that if I stay within my religious sect, if I stay within my culture, if I stay within all of this, then like my marriage will be easier. And it's really not true. Like, the most significant identifier of divorce is addiction issues. And when you think, like, in the United States of America, like 30% of the population are addicted to opiates, whether they're prescribed or not. So, you really have to be careful about who you let into your life. And some people might say, well, like, I didn't know, with the blindfold there. But at the same time, like, did you really not know? Like, if you're intimate with someone and you have this kind of feeling like, something's not right, like, how could you really not know? It's all just an illusion again. So someone's definitely kind of been, the King of Swords here, maybe Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, has been, bamboozled in some kind of way and is now more or less stuck in the situation they got bamboozled into. And not really clueless about what to do, but trying to, thinking about things that they've sacrificed for the sake of whatever they're in, and it not really being worth it, and then trying to get out of it, but then just being in so deep with a certain situation, certain people, that, it's almost like, stuck. Yeah, the Hermit. So we've been seeing the Hermit a lot here. The Hermit, again, is a card of being retrospective, kind of just, shutting the door and licking your wounds, like taking care of yourself, finding your spiritual awareness in the situations that you have met. It's a major arcana card, so I'm happy to see it here as a clarifier in my major arcana in the reading. But you see how he's also holding that light there. He's kind of, looking for the light, using whatever light he has left in the situation to more or less find his way. It's cold and icy and seems like you'll be on kind of a journey, but keeping to yourself, realizing that you've been through this illusionary situation, and not really, processing it all. I'm going to use my new deck next. And it's really too bad that people do this to one another. And for what reason? For the white picket fence, for money, for status, for, it's just, it's, and then these people paint themselves as, righteous people. Like, if they're really that righteous, it's really, I had a conversation. So I have a long-term relationship, we were together for 3 years and then on and off for 5. So an 8-year relationship, and he didn't want to have children and I did, and so I ended up breaking it off with him, and I was speaking to one of my girlfriends about it. And she was just like, well, why don't you just get married and get pregnant? It's not like he'll make you, he won't divorce you if you don't get an abortion. And, you know, just the fact that some people think this way, like the reason why, like I would never do that. You know, if someone's blatantly telling me like, I don't want to have children, this is not something that I want. Like, you know, I'm not gonna elude myself, you know, to put myself in a more of a toxic situation, and not only that, but then bring another life form onto this planet when, you know, the father more or less had said that he's not wanted. You know, people change too, but like I'm not in the position to make that choice for him or force him to change. Like that's not something that I would do, but there are tons of people who would. There are tons of people who would see it as an advantageous situation and get knocked up, lock him up, you know, like lock him down, as they say. And probably one of the reasons why this young man also loves me and still would be with me, even if I chose not to have children, he would still 100% be with me, is because he knows how honest I am, you know. So it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword, this particular situation. But, you know, you meet these people where it's just like, you know, this person's like, listen, like, I'm not going to do this for you. I'm not going to do this for you. I'm not going to do this for you. And then this person is like, oh, well, I can change your mind. I can change your mind. And like, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but like, I personally find it to be a waste of my energy to even try to change someone's mind when they adamantly say no about something, you know, and especially as serious as that. But, you know, that's how, it's a very karmic way of thinking. So, let's see. The sun. So I'm really happy to see there's some sunshine here after all. And I really love the imagery of this card. Like I love the dreaminess, the galactic aspect of it. Also different sort of artistry and depictions of the major arcana and minor arcana and the symbolism behind each particular card. The sun is masculine energy, the most positive card in the deck, like everything positive associated with like brightness and vibrance and abundance and you know, good luck and good fortune, and you know, just really great to see this here. You know, so it looks like someone's kind of seeing the light in the situation, seeing what someone's trying to dump on them, you know, make it their problem. And like, that's the thing, is like, you know, a lot of adult people, a lot of children who stay and who continue to live at home with their parents, you know, maybe they're living at home and they're 22, 23, 24, 25, you know, 26, you know, older, until they're 30 or so. Like I had a friend who had said to me, like, yeah, like the only reason why I got with my now husband is because I wanted to get out of my house. I didn't want to live with my parents anymore. I couldn't stand living there. And like, that's just, you know, like, that's just toxicity rolling into another. Like there's just one toxic situation, hopping from one toxic situation to another, you know. So like, and some parents too, I think that they don't want to deal with their children anymore once they reach a certain age, and they've enabled them so much to behave a certain way, to be a certain way, to act a certain way, you know, where they have no self-discipline, you know, they have no ability to fend for themselves, they have no ability to be independent, so they rely on these masculine, you know, their knight in shining armor to come save them, to come rescue them from their messed up situation. But again, like, you know, it's a very karmic way of thinking, and part of what makes you, everyone has the ability to become a quote divine feminine, divine masculine, but part of what makes you that are the journey and the struggles along the way, and learning how to take accountability for things that aren't your fault. You know, maybe your dad's an alcoholic and he's cheated on your mom for for their entire relationship, and then, you know, your mom kind of doesn't want to leave him because she doesn't want to sacrifice her well-being and, you know, her status and the money and whatever, and like, you know, it just ends up being he just drinks more and cheats more, and you know, she goes out and cheats too, and these people are all under a house, you know, smiling for the camera, like looking like the perfect family, but like it's again, it's just an illusion. It's not real, you know. And this is how a lot of people operate. Everyone wants to make it seem like they have more than they actually do, you know. That they're more, that they're richer, that they're smarter, that they're more educated, that they're prettier, that, you know, a lot of people. And it's not the responsibility of the masculine to come save a feminine in any kind of situation. You know, that's just like, it's just codependency. The Star. Yeah, so the Star is Aquarius energy. So there's definitely a brightness, a realization. This is the most magical card, you know, in the deck. The most galactic card. You know, this card actually reminds me of like the original Rider-Waite deck. It reminds me of the Fountain of Youth. And kind of finding like your fountain of youth. And there's so much positivity here. So I know I kind of went into you know, my spiels of how toxic things could be, but someone's definitely 100% seeing the light in the situation here, which is great. It's so dreamy, you know, like Midsummer Night's Dream. Like I love to write. It's actually my favorite medium. Like I have very artistic parents, and I'm lucky to have the exposure that I did to the art world and what have you. But you know, I never thought that my art was good enough to go to art school. I did apply and like got into a couple of really nice institutions. But you know, I didn't think that it could, you know, be, you know, I didn't think it was practical enough to pursue something like that. So I ended up finding a lot of relief in writing poetry. And this kind of image here reminds me of a poem I wrote about fireflies. A poem that I wrote about fireflies. And, you know, the mystery of, you know, I used to chase these fireflies growing up in backwoods New York, and, you know, put them in jars and stuff. And, you know, it's just, when you see them, it's so magical when you see like 100 of them in a field. And, you know, there's also just an ancient, you know, it's an image that, you know, millions, maybe billions of people have seen before. And it's just very magical, you know, very mysterious, and you never know when the firefly is they're communicating with each other as well, and you never know when it's gonna, you know, flash its light again. So I love to see this positive contrast to. So let's see. Yeah, Three of Swords. So there's heartbreak here. There's, you know, third parties here. You know, the thing is too is that like when people are stuck, when like, you know, unhappy masculines are stuck in these types of situations, they think that bringing in the third party will benefit them. You know, and all it does is cause more pain for everyone. It makes a headache for the masculine to deal with. It causes pain to, you know, the primary partner, and it causes pain to whoever they're having on the side as well. You know, it's just, and then you when you lie about it too, like when you say that, you know, you're single and you're not single, like that is breaking someone's free will, you know. So there's definitely heartbreak amongst the illusions, and too, like when masculines go out and do this, it creates such a toxic situation, because the primary partner ends up being so hurt that the only way they can one up the situation is by you know, doing the same thing back. So there's a situation here that's done, that's kind of gone. You know, there's pain for sure. Knight of Wands. Yeah, so the Knight of Wands are very gallant, passionate, fire energy. So Leo, Sag, Aries. Wands are all about messages as well and communication. So this might be someone learning, the best way to communicate all of this, the situation and this, the fuck shit of it all and mastering it as well. And also trying to see the positive and realizing that you're going to get over the hump soon. Like you're going to, it's all going to be over soon. Kind of taking charge in the situation and leading with your passion. Oh, the Hermit. Yeah, so someone's definitely licking their wounds behind closed doors, like seeking the light, trying to find their way. It's a very spiritual card. It's a card of spiritual enlightenment as well. Before someone's like really ready to master other aspects of the major arcana, like the Hierophant is a very spiritual card. So this is kind of like the Hierophant on his journey, the Hierophant realizing, that we're all kind of just subject to the situations that we are exposed to, and we can either make the best of it or turn it into something worse. And it's hard when you don't have the spiritual insight or, the knowledge or the life lessons or whatever it might be to overcome but I love to see a double clarification. Like the likelihood of this happening is really low. So I love to see it here. And like also like as I'm gonna go a little bit like this is also someone like when someone's coming at them with this kind of energy like the Seven of Swords, they're standing up for themselves. They're saying no, like you're not gonna do this to me. Like I'm not gonna be your slave here. Like I'm not gonna make all the money and you can sit on your ass all day and just take from me, and that's definitely what someone has been trying to accomplish here, getting tied down to a provider, so they can be taken care of. There's a lot of self-centeredness in the Seven of Cups and Seven of Swords, not really thinking about the other situations here, just kind of doing what's best for you. So let's see what's clarifying the Two of Swords to the Sun. Eight of Swords. Yeah, so, the Eight of Swords is a victimization card. It's seeing yourself as the victim, being the victim, losing your power, having people take your power away from you. Like you see, there's also deception in the Eight of Swords. Like you see this person, like, he's kind of in his mind about what, his lovemaking, and you see the devil here, kind of walking by, stealing something, and she's kind of looking, is she in cahoots or not? It's hard to know, but this masculine here just seems like a victim in the situation, or, whatever it could be, but definitely a degree of victimization. With the sun, it's like also like you're definitely seeing the light here. You're definitely using your mastery. You're definitely, realizing that you have the power to make a choice, and you don't want this to be your choice anymore. The sun again. Yeah, so a lot of positivity here, a lot of ability to transcend, a lot of potential, a lot of abundance, a lot of good luck. Spirit is literally wishing you good luck right now, giving you good fortune in the situation, because it's tough, like, when you have your back against the wall in a situation and you're not really sure how to handle it. This person can, some people slander you, some people, key your car, some people, put false accusations against you, some people, I never underestimate the crazy ways that people deal with their stuff, and I always hear these stories, like people always share their stories with me, and it's quite amazing. Like, I also heard this story about I knew someone who knew someone. She was experiencing like really bad internal like issues, like with her gut and stuff, and she wasn't sure what it was. And meanwhile, her husband had been poisoning her water, putting like, I don't know, whatever it could have been, like a little bit of poison into her water or her coffee each morning so she could go through this pain, be confused about it and be unsure about it. And like, at that point, like, why don't you just freaking divorce them? Like, you hate your wife that much where you want to poison her and put her in that kind of pain. Like, just divorce them. Just leave them. Like, are you that powerless in the situation? It's just kind of ridiculous. So, like, I'm just kind of bringing back to the fact that, like, you have to transcend, if things have happened to you in the past where you've been victimized and put into a position where you felt like you had no choice. This is spirit with the sun and the star and everything, that they're encouraging you. Be assertive. Assert yourself in the situation. Do not let these people take your power away from you. You have mastered too much, The moon. Yeah, so I love the contrast here. The moon is the most mysterious card in the deck, the most elusive card in the deck. So, this is a really great image too, with, there's one feminine here holding a mirror and another one holding kind of like a wine glass, and both, having their masculine in their lap. And I think this is Scorpio, Cancer, Scorpio energy. The moon is water energy typically. I think the sun is Leo. Yeah. A lot of Gemini, Libra, Aquarius on the board. And a touch of water and a little bit of fire. But, I compare this, like, the secrets of the universe, like things that are left unsaid, things that don't even have words to them. I use a bunch of comparisons in all of my readings, but, I like to say, like, Stephen Hawking, bless his soul, was, one of probably the most prolific scientists of this age, and spent all his time trying to decipher the secrets of the universe, and ultimately came up with the Big Bang Theory. And like, it still is totally a theory, and it's very much a guessing game to know what happened 12 billion years ago and how the universe was even created, and how we even came about as a species. And you know, like there are tons of conflicting kind of religious sects and conflicting, you know, theories about it, and you know, with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Cups here, it also kind of signifies that there are things here that are even beyond your control. You can try to use your logic and control the situation as much as you'd like, but you know, it's all in divine timing here as well. Like spirits kind of taking the situation with the star and the sun twice and the moon, you know, and the hermit. This is what you need to do right now. You need to kind of stay behind closed doors and lick your wounds and recover and think back and be retrospective about all the stuff that's happened to you and try to become a better person from it, because spirit is also, you know, the laws of the universe are handling the situation for sure. Ace of Cups. Yeah, so there's definitely a love situation at the end of, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. It could be a love situation. Could be everything you ever wanted and more, you know, and maybe it looked too shiny to you to begin with, but your head was too wrapped up in this kind of, you know, deceptive, illusionary BS to realize what was even in front of you. All right, let's see what our last card is on the table. Clarifying the Hermit to the Hermit. Yeah, it's like someone's like, who wants to deal with this? Who wants to deal with someone, all they want to do is take advantage of me and, you know, disempower me and make me feel worthless, and then, you know, look over their shoulder and then cheat on me, and then, you know, do this and that and take my money from me and just, you know, totally just like take me for a ride. Like, this is like, hell no. Oh, hell no. You know, like communication here with the wands, like, you know, the King of Wands is a very honest, communicative king. So kind of mastering, you know, your communication and telling someone like this, like, oh no, you're not going to do this to me. You know, I have something like this in my fate. You know, like there's no way I'm settling for this. You know, and then like you thought it was it's all nice wrapped up in a bow, but it's yeah, Knight of Cups. So this is the most repetitive card that we've seen in the deck, for my tarot readings since I've started posting tarot readings online. Again, like I compare this figure to the gentleman in Atonement. So I forgot the Scottish actor. He's such a wonderful actor too. I do adore him. I need to, you know, after this, like follow him on Instagram or something like that if you can have as an Insta. You know, just such a brilliant actor, and he was writing these love letters to Keira Knightley, and you know, some of them were very sexual in nature, and kind of the premise of the movie Atonement is that the love letter, you know, he accidentally switches them or gives the wrong one and then gives it to Keira Knightley's little sister to deliver directly to her, and Keira Knightley's little sister ends up reading it, and then, you know, he gets falsely accused of rape and like all this kind of stuff, you know, so kind of playing into the illusionary aspect of things. Like, people are wrong all the time, and it's okay, you know, it's okay if you get it wrong. It's okay if you struggle along the way. It's okay, you know, and like a lot of I think when masculines also have kind of these they have this like stoicness to them, is that they've been raised by very you know, emotionally unstable mothers. You know, you're stoic in response to having, you know, all these issues that were presented to you at such a young age, and you had to learn to deal with it. And then when you get to, be emotive or get to be in your emotional energy, you just have no idea what to say. And that's okay. It's really, it's no big deal, And the thing about our emotions and our feelings is that they're also very residual for our past life experiences. So when you feel super emotional about something and it doesn't really make sense to the situation, maybe you feel like you've overreacted, or you feel like it's a little more intense, I kind of see that as there being more residual kind of past life, something deeper, something more going on than just, surface level. But great reading. Again, Spirit has their eyes on you. The universe is looking out for you. There's positivity here. You can do it. You can do it. Just kind of stay in your lane and think about other things. Occupy your mind with other things, with more positive things. Get into the sun.